to the special edition of training today, a training webinar that SCS and PACE Worldwide is putting together for you. I have with me special guest Mike Lucius from PACE Worldwide. Mike, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, pleasure to have you. Pleasure to have you. We have some pretty interesting products in store for you today. Today we're going to be talking about a couple of newer products that SCS and PACE Worldwide have to offer. I'm going to go ahead and kick us off first with the SCS WS Aware Workstation Monitor with a power relay. So just to give everybody a little bit of the state of the industry, a couple of things that we've been hearing from our customers through the last 6 to 8 months, and more so in the last few months with everything that's going on in the world today. First of all is we've been talking about for a few years now, Industry 4.0, the smart factory, how to get more efficient, how to be able to manage our processes and applications from a remote area. Within the last few months, as everybody knows, we've gone through a change in our world, which this becomes more and more relevant in what's going on today in regards to being able to still be able to run a manufacturing facility, run an ESD process, and be able to manage that from a remote location like a home office, like many of us are working in today. So that's the first one is the Industry 4.0, the smart factory. The next one is talking about carbon footprint. How can we save on energy? How can we save on maintenance of our tools and our products that we use in the factory? So being able to minimize the carbon footprint in these factories is something that we've been hearing a lot from our customers over the past 6 to 8 months, and even over in the last few years, but more so in the last few months. So today we're going to talk about a couple of things that could help our customers do that. The first product we're going to talk about today is our WS Aware that you see right here. This is a monitor that is monitoring an operator. It's monitoring 2 operators. It's monitoring 2 tools, and it's also monitoring 2 workstations, 2 mats. Okay, but the biggest thing, this product's been out on the market for a few years now, but we've also been able to add something that's going to help you, the customer, to save on that carbon footprint. And what it is it's a WS Aware with a power relay, which you can see here. This power relay has functions that can actually be able to turn off the workbench if your operator is not grounded. So I have here a wrist strap, okay? If the operator's plugged into the wrist strap, the workstation is ready to go and it's up and running. You have an ionizer, most customers have an ionizer. Here we have the PACE ADS 200, AccuDrive, and if the operator's not connected to ground, what's gonna end up happening is everything on the workbench, as you can see here, turns off. So if your operator, Mr. Operator, or Mrs. Operator walks up to the bench, they want to start working on whatever product they need to have or whatever they need to work on, this workbench isn't going to be powered up. Soldering tip's going to be cold, ionizer is going to be turned off, lights are going to be turned off, nothing's going to be able to happen. Okay? Once that operator properly connects to ground, you see that it turns right back on. Okay? So again, if it turns off, it's not able to be worked on. So this is a product, again, that's going to save you if you have fume extraction that's hooked up to this workbench. Fume extractor is not going to turn on, so it's not going to be running 24 hours a day for our customers who have 24-hour-a-day operations. It's going to be turned off. Same with the ionizer, and then same with your manual soldering iron or anything else that you have on the workbench. Okay. You can see here on the PowerPoint here. We have a couple of different options for the monitor, which needs to stay on all the time. There's a electrical jack that you would plug that monitor in that will always stay on. And for the soldering iron and the ionizer, you're going to actually plug them into normally on, which means that once that monitor shows that that operator is not plugged in, then everything's going to be on. So pretty cool product. Something that's new out on the market, something that we've actually, you can go on to the next screen, Kevin. This is something that we've been asked about by multiple customers, and we were able to bring it forward and make it happen simply because of the monitor that has the power relay. One other thing before I hand it over to Mike, there's another part of this that's very, very important. We talked earlier about Industry 4.0. So this monitor can actually be connected to our static management program, which means that the entire ESD process can be monitored by the ESD coordinator or the quality control coordinator remotely from their house. So if there's an alarm that goes on in the factory, there can be an email that's sent over the ESD coordinator. The ESD coordinator can then communicate to the manufacturing personnel to see what the issues are inside their ESD process. So very, very cool products that we have out. If you have any questions that I can answer for you, any comments, you can reach me at 909-682-2774 is my direct cell phone number. My email address is on the PowerPoint on the screen here, henry.salgado@staticcontrol.com. I am the National Sales Manager. Anything that we can do to help you, please let us know. With that being said, Mr. Lucius, I'm going to hand it over to you so you can talk about your new product, and it's all yours.
Thanks a lot, Henry. Again, my name is Mike Lucius with PACE Worldwide, and I'm here to go over our ADS200 AccuDrive system. This product has been out on the market for about 2 years now, and it's a little bit different than some of our older products. It uses a AccuDrive heating technology, which is a closed loop heating technology. So it's constantly relaying the information back to the station as you're using it, and the heat is being delivered to the circuit board. And if I turn the station on here, it heats up the temperature within 7 seconds. The LED light is amber. Once it reaches this temperature, it's green. The soldering iron that we have here is the TD200. So it has a very short tip to grip. So if you ever tried writing your name holding a pencil up really high, it's very difficult. The same goes with the soldering iron. You have it nice and a close touch to it. You have very good control for precise applications. It's made with aircraft aluminum. So it's a cool touch technology that we've come up with. So if the operator is soldering all day long at high temperatures, the handpiece stays cool to the touch, because it can become very uncomfortable with other soldering irons if it gets too hot or warm throughout the day. So with the aluminum construction, the heat dissipates very well off the soldering iron. And it also comes with an instant setback cubby. So right when I put that TD200 back in the stand, you can program it to have it go to sleep, so to speak, to where it cuts the temperature down below solder melt after your desired amount of time, which I have it set for 350 degrees. Some of the other features of the actual station, the tip to ground resistance is 2 ohms or less. It meets or exceeds the ESD S20.20 requirements. The tips are tip heater cartridges. So we have a little tip tool here that just pulls the tip right out of the TD200. And if you wanted to change it, you put it in the stand to cool. And then you find another tip, and they're actually keyed with an arrow. So they can only go into the TD200 one way, push it all the way down, begins to heat back up the temperature. There's 3 preset temperatures that you can have on the system. So say if an operator is soldering at 650 degrees and they're now changing an application, they can just push the black button and it jumps up 50 degrees, 25 degrees, whatever their desired temperatures for that application. So it's kind of nice. You don't have to sit there and toggle through different temperatures. Very simple interface. You have 3 buttons. You have your red and your black for up and down, and then the black button for programming. The tips that come with the system, there's 2 different types of tips, standard tips and ultra performance tips. If you see on the PowerPoint there, with that extra thermal reservoir on some of those tips, it looks a little fatter towards the top. Those are the ultra performance tips to give you that extra, if you needed that 120 watts of power for thermally challenging applications. And then the thinner standard tips for your standard applications. We have over 50 geometries for the AccuDrive Blue Series tips. It is definitely noted that these Blue Series tips only work with the AccuDrive system. They don't work with any of our legacy products. They're specific, they have different sensors in them. They only work with this AccuDrive system. Going into our MT200, this is actually a brand new design that we have here with the ADS 200. It came out at Apex 2020 this year. So this is designed for safe and rapid removal of very small chip components, SOICs. It also has 120 watts of power, and the tip change is identical to the TD200. They're keyed tips. So if you wanted to change them, you pull them out and you insert them just like the handpiece, the TD200. There is a theta rotational for each side or each pair of tips for perfect alignment. So if you're working on an 0201 and an 0402, very small components, it's paramount to have the tips perfectly aligned so you can go down and remove the 0201s. Now this tool would only be used for removal. It's not necessarily an installation tool at all. It'd be very difficult. There's also a tip gap adjustment. So if you're working on larger components, you can open them up so you can get around that component to squeeze. And if you are going down to 0201s, you can use the tip gap adjustment to make it a lot smaller so you don't have to squeeze as hard on the handpiece. And again, this only works with the ADS 200 Blue Series tips as well. And if you look at some of the tips available, I think we have over 10 different size tips for the MT200, and they all come in pairs as you see there on the screen for larger SOICs, smaller SOICs, and then down to very small chip scale packages. And again, I'm Mike Lucius with PACE Incorporated. I'm the Northeastern US and Canada Regional Sales Manager. Cell phone 301-957-4373. Email mlucius@paceworldwide.com. If you have any questions, you can go to our website at paceworldwide.com. Thanks again.
Excellent. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. We appreciate everybody for joining us today. On behalf of myself, Henry Salgado, Mike Lucius with PACE Worldwide, I appreciate you guys joining us. See you soon.